So by giving an entire organic and amoebic kind of shapes, which is also abstract to a human figure, we can also see some line work here, some detailing. कि लोग दूर से ही ना सोचे कि okay, I'm done with it, I interpreted it and I go. So it invites you to have a closer look at it. Also, the pedestal is given the same treatment, but yet it looks like made of a different material and something that does not belong to the sculpture itself. But I feel, it could also be placed in a garden or at the floor of a gallery without that pedestal.
It looks like there should be a human in this sculpture, but I can't find it.
You can't find it is the main quest. You shouldn't be able to find it. That is the riddle that this artist plays. Each time you try to find a human, you should get lost and you find something else. Yet you keep on coming back to the idea that human isi mein hai, kahin na kahin to hai. So this is a midway abstraction. It keeps you taking back to giving those clues कि इसमें human है, क्योंकि हमें कुछ कुछ दिख रहा है. मैं नहीं बोलूंगी, आप बोल के दिखाओ. और फिर वापस मैं आपको क्रॉस मार दूंगी कि नहीं, sorry, no human here. So those are those midway abstractions where you are there, you have not completely given away the form of human, yet you have not completely given the human form also. So you are at that stage where you are at a semi-figural abstraction probably. But so in your minds, probably, if you're not ready to share or you do not feel like, it's all right, but you can get elements, you can find elements over here that are actually the cues that take you back to asking that it is a human form. I see an elbow. I see a
neck.
wrist.
Yeah.
I see shoulders. I see joints, though some of them are joints that humans don't have. But I probably see 2 feet resting.
The whole thing in a whole looks like a body too, if you don't.
So I am saying there are two words that are used differently here. Let's not interpret it, but let me give you those words. One is abstraction and one is distortion. I could also at one point say that is it a distorted human being? Why? Because I feel shoulder से जहां तक hips होते या जहां knees होती वहां पे बहुत ज्यादा सब कुछ fluid में फैल गया और elongate हो गया. And that is distortion. But does that mean कि एक और चीज भी कह सकती हूँ in a different way कि I am not following human figure anatomy anyways because I'm abstracting. So it's more of an emotion. It's more of a pose. It's more of an idea. Probably कि when you relax, probably मैं melty हो जाऊँ जैसे bed में. Yeah, probably in your thoughts and in your this thing, sometimes physically you don't exist. You only exist in your imagination. So your awareness of your body, it kind of melts down. There or not there, you're not aware. So probably is it that in between stage? So why I'm discussing these, so can you make out that I'm discussing these two very clear genres right now? I am talking in terms of something that is completely abstract. कि idea क्या चल रहा होगा? हो सकता है ये figure ये content दिखा रहा है. But I also am right now discussing the physical qualities of this piece of art also. In terms of form, in terms of curvatures, in terms of material, reflections, everything. But also, it supports, it is done in such a way because there is an emotion which is over there. There is a depiction, there is a content. So do they both gel and make it one? The language of this material and the way it has been crafted, as well as what they wanted to depict. Probably a very fluid state of mind where you do not know your anatomy exists, which is completely harmonic and geometric and in proportion, because proportions go away over here. So, what is that state of mind where you're not aware of proportions? Yet they're very intricate, they're delicately drawn on your body. Probably, probably not.
There's like blueprints on the entire body. I mean, they look like grids and
Wow,
blueprints.
nice. A blueprint is a very nice word that you just gave me. This is again Henry Moore. So you see now clearly this is the same artist, same material. Yet we have, placed them in completely different environments, and how the space around and the environment around actually uh, builds, completes the sculpture. And so you know already that there wouldn't be an artificial and studio lighting on it. There is natural lighting, and natural lighting keeps changing. Not only does the sun change its position, we have many other uh, stimulants. We have many other effects. Can you see some? The moment I see it, I come across a
It looks like
feeling
a
of,
chewed up candy.
yeah. I mean also that thing of nesting is there. One uh, forms nesting within each other. Would you prefer any other color on it? Does the color disturb you? Should you think it should be on a stand or a pedestal? Just inquiring out of curiosity, not to judge.
It looks like something that a person could sit on. So I mean, a
Sit and slide
pedestal.
also.
Yeah,
Not very friendly. It won't hold you.
At the first glance I saw this, I was like, where is Ganesha?
या
Usually I
गणेशा तो फॉर्म तो बचपन से लेके अब तक हमें कहीं भी दिखते हैं। अभी वो स्टोन में भी दिखते हैं, पेड़ों में भी दिखते हैं, क्लाउड्स में भी दिखते हैं, और किसी की विंडो पे सूखते हुए कपड़ों में भी दिखते हैं, है ना? दैट फॉर्म। सो डू यू सी हाउ वी आर ट्रेन्ड विजुअली to just create that form out of nowhere, है ना? Some conversation I'm stopping here by saying the figure and the ball and the string attached. Now, other than that, what are all the other abstract elements that are depicted through this sculpture? You also see that it is not placed in a garden. It is like placed to another monument or a building, है ना? Just like Picasso's. It was not in a garden, but placed next to a building. So what if it was in a garden? What if not? And what is it that is depicted? The elements.
the
Abstract elements.
figure looks really feminine, and I mean, I don't know what the purpose of not having a reflective surface on the woman, but having a reflective surface on the globe is. But I mean, that's something that I've done. And also
Strength also somewhere.
yeah, and there's also light around the woman only, not around the globe, because it's already very reflective,
Okay.
I guess. So yeah, that's basically just what I noticed.
Yes, others.
There's also a feeling of tension when you have the rope thing.
Yes,
The woman is holding.
on the left hemisphere and the right
Yeah,
hemisphere of this, there's some tension over here.
Yeah, it feels like there's a bit of a struggle going on there because of the way it is sort of stretched.
So the body weight and the air which is blowing it towards the left kind of is balancing towards the right, yet it is in high motion. That is why there is a lot of tension, and ये जैसे बहुत सारे मोमेंट्स में से एक मोमेंट है, एक सेकंड का पकड़ा हुआ है, बट प्रोबेबली इट इज लाइक इतने मोशन में जैसे आप पंखे को घूमते हुए देख नहीं पाते. It will just dissolve. So you're right that there is this kind of strength as well as some tension. Force, we are saying. movement we are saying. So you know, so,
And even the balance of Sushmita, the whole
yes,
force of the ball is balanced by the dress at the back.
yes,
The dress which is going,
with the air showing
pull.
as the pull of the air and the push of the air, and then there's a pull. That is why there's a tension over here. So we are using all these words which are independent, floating words, but we are now attaching it to it. Similarly, this is how you create your mental mood boards. You try to take away all the aspects. So that is why I said I minus the figure and I minus the circle. So I want all the abstract elements that are here within this image. So you talked about all of them. So now you know how to interpret those elements through line, through surface, by creating imbalance with a lot of balance, and therefore creating a push and a pull and tension. So there's a lot of going on in this picture here, in this sculpture here. There's movement, there's restlessness, strength, force. Okay? So you can start interpreting now, since I went abstract, I can start by saying strength through this. I can even get onto the material and actually to that point and that joint where she's holding that, ribbon or that cloth, and look at the stretch of the arms. Another thing is, so when I see these arms, I'll also raise a question, it could have been a muscular man also here. But there's a point, that one probably belongs to the scene. Because it was easy to show muscle through a man. But there's a lot of stability, there's a lot of, push and pull that we are showing through a female figure. The form is very lyrical. The form is very, very organic. Fragile also at moment, because she's wearing all this kind of drapery. But then you understand the strength through this entire environment that is built between the push and pull, and this object in the air, which is probably being rotated 360-degree around that this woman is doing. And this is only one still of that. So through these interpretations, we're building our vocabulary to understand that how lines, surfaces, materials are interpreted, can be interpreted. So this is sheet metal. So not only, so by now you must have seen thousands of them already, that found material is actually being reused, upcycled, not recycled. Yes, recycled also, but since it creates another object, upcycled. So you can see, but how the choice differs, how the mesh on the belly is different than the mesh on the shoulder blades, and starting from the neck onwards. So the choice of material, choice of joints, how the spoon heads have actually become the joints of the knees. So we also, why I've also put it randomly, that we do not have any mental categories in mind. We only look at the treatment. Okay. So now you see that, there was a mental shift in my head also. I hope I created that for you as well. You can see over here that there's negative and there's positive space. But negative space in this sculpture also becomes a part of the sculpture. And also the texture within the material has been used to enhance the content of this sculpture. The lines within the wood, the natural texture of the wood actually builds, makes and unmakes the folds in this organic formation. So that is why this darkness, you should be able to feel it. This is what because I cannot actually make you go through them in a lab. So what, I can only create this feel inside you. When you handle a material, what is that feel that comes to you? And what each material is capable of. to deliver the idea that you have in mind. So how to maximize the qualities of that material and make it conversant with your idea. So over here also, can you see zarurat nahi bhi thi, but how the pointiness has been used to show the predator feel. You know it is not a normal bird. You know it is a towering one, and the kind of the tiger in the birds. Yet there is something very fragile about it. What do you think it is? Is this culture placed on a pedestal?
The egg serves as sort of pedestal.
Yes, but so egg itself does not have a very reliable position. It is an organic form. It can roll up. So that is that one point where this moment is captured, where it is half in flight, yet it is not put full of its weight on the egg because the egg is not stable, doesn't have a stable ground. It can roll off. The claws have yet not clutched it. So you also look at the moment, and you also look at this treatment where, so also that this is placed next to a building here. It is not an outside garden. It does make a very strong statement, but it's not probably as pleasing and interactive. So can you see in the same environment, there are many sculptures. I can at least see two here. The previous one is in metal, probably. Some part stone, metal and concrete. The one that you see in center black in the far off. And this one over here is wires. And very different use of wires, very different kinds of wires, wires as mesh, wires as balls, wires as just plain line, as a sketch. So there's also fragility, transparency in wires that you can see, probably which the wings might have. A sketchy, and this dandelion का जो ये look देख रहे हो आप, the wish dandelion, जिस जो इतना फ्रेजाइल होता है कि आप उसको हाथ में लो तो उसके सब रोए जो हैं उड़ के हवा में उड़ जाते हैं. Same has been achieved, that sketchy feeling through the line wire. And then, a shabbily done ball treatment for the body to give it a solid and 3D feel. And the hair has a different feel than the dandelion. So can you see different treatments here? Yeah?
She also has those netted wings, which suggests that it's supposed to be like a fairy, which is typically, thought to be a small thing, but it looks like a very large structure instead.
So either a fairy or a creature, from the gardens or whatever, like a nature fairy or those small. Usually, why do you say small is because we associate it with all these animation movies that we've seen, like
there was Tinkerbell and
Tinkerbell and all those creatures, So that is why we think of the size smaller than our palms. But we also see a lot of motion, and this can you see the physical stature? It is not a rested moment. It is an in-between moment. Can you see the hand which is reaching around, but it is not made itself stable yet? And over here also there's a quality of push and pull. And frozen in time kind of moment.
As if the dandelion is pulling her away, kind of.
Or she just pulled it off and it is flying away, and probably she wants to slow down the moment so that it doesn't fly away, the parts of it. So you can see different kinds. So there's organic treatment, there is actual physical body there's hair, in motion. So all that has been achieved through various modes of line, solid and non-solid, thicker and thin, curvaceous or non-curvaceous, straight. Only at one place I can see it straight. where the pull is there. Can you make out? So not only do we appreciate the content, we try and look at all the physical qualities, because these are the ones that you will actually be putting up in your interpretation of 3D form. So treatment over here, and there's a figure, also in the center, the black one, which is over there, standing eternally, like the usual statues that we have around. So a completely different use of metal and wires, but can you see the combination? So I could get you as marvelous sculptures as possible, but I am trying to get over here some of them which, have different materials talking, but creating different qualities. So why does it still give you a street look here?
Because the fur looks unclean.
Also, can you see the floor? ये हमारी buses का और platforms का floor होता है. So straight away that has been put up to put here to create that feeling. Also that we see human garbage, and a fox has come to sift through human garbage and humanly created floor. You understand? So this does look like a wild creature and not a pet dog. At a point, you only think that it has only 3 legs. There's no 4th one. So do you see that not only the fur, the distortment in the physical shape and body also adds to the content. So what is the content? What is the subject over here? Distraught, homeless, hungry, at a wrong place, cold, starved, So these are the physical statures, emotional, expressive qualities. But we also look at the material here. And can you see that there is very naturally done black and white, black towards gray shades here, just like a sketch. But I don't know how it is attained, probably because of over a period of time, if you rot these wires, it would naturally be darkened out at some places like this and lighter in some. What do you say?
What if it was sanded, like layers were put off of the black wire and it, like the shining came out?
Yeah, it could be. It could have been given a bare treatment also, cubic. Yes, but so that is our personal expression. Sometimes I like to sketch with charcoal, with pencil, but I also have explored the material that brings out the best of my expression also. So I have to find that 1, 2, 3 convergent material as well. That is the choice I will make probably as a sculpture. So can you see there's no formal treatment given to the ground as well, to the pedestal, to the stage where these are, staged. That's also as sketchy as the wire work over here. So there's wire with added material here. So we can see the different treatment. We had the wire and metal treatment here also, where it is distinguished, but over here it is not so distinguished. Yet we have a very fragile idea displayed here.
It looks like dots and lines are forming out of nothingness, and then it converts from a 2D image to a 3D structure.
Yeah. And can you also see there are some shadows which are adding to the mood and the the softness of the head and the neck. And then the shadows don't form because it becomes very sketchy. The wire is not holding. The light is passing through it. So that is why these shadows are only at deliberate places. So why I'm showing it with the hand is you can understand the scale of it. But I would even, I can also imagine it a complete wall being created like that. Because not only is it giving me a paper finish, it also gives me a wall distemper finish, probably lightly textured, but probably that softness can be created, which is there in paper. So can you see and only one thing that comes out of it is softness in emotion, in the idea that it is depicting, as well as softness of the curvature of two faces which are merging onto each other. We see that shadows are created, but shadows are maximally soft. So this is also paper. And this is also paper. So over here, can you see that, this sculpture leaves the ground? Up till now, they've all been placed on ground or pedestals. So could I think of how it is placed? Whether it is hung, whether it is stuck, whether something away from wall is made as a fitting to let it be placed like this.
I see the wires on top that are hanging it.
Okay, in one, yes. But look at the treatment, the repetitiveness of this texture.
Still, it's organic and geometric.
Yes, the light also is creating a very different kind of depth and effect. So it is solid. It is a complete 3D thing, yet it is made of. How would I have actually created it in wire? And what form is it giving to this thick rope? That I place it down and rope droops to a level, It is a soft material, yet how it creates temper. Probably if I would just leave it in the ground, after a few months, probably I'll have birds inhabit it. Probably not because it is too low, but probably yes. I don't know.
Maybe worms.
Lot of things, I think it will become a part of nature. It will. Probably it is the intention.
It looks like hives anyways.
Yes.
So
For humans, probably. Anyway, this is mixed material, found objects.
is this a squirrel?
Possibly any one of those creatures of that category. What is this made of?
Nets, mesh, and wires.
Yes. So can you see these are all sheet metal? So this guy kind of makes everything and calls it the sliced sculptures. So you all know that this is the famous Marilyn Monroe with the skirt blowing off. Okay, so this picture has been interpreted like more than 1,000 times, but this is his interpretation as a sliced sculpture form. So can you see the symmetry and non-symmetry creates the things which are in motion and not motion. So can you see the even and symmetrical legs as against the skirt that is blowing in air, which has uneven lines and slices, as well as the one in hair? These are the only two things which are off the hook, creating different lines in motion, lines in movement, than the ones which are showing the body which is holding itself in place. So that is the interpretation of the line as form.